Hello, my loves. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I can officially say it now. Welcome back to the Royal Remembrance podcast. I am just so excited to be here, be in this space, be back with you guys. I missed you so freaking much. And we just have so much to talk about. We have so much to catch up on. And what I love most about this podcast is that we just keep like elevating and upgrading together. And I love it. Like, I feel like it just never stops. I figured coming back on to the podcast, I want to kind of like do kind of like a life update and get you guys updated with where I'm at. 2024 already has been such a season, such a year already of expansion. And I really want this episode to kind of like walk you guys through the biggest life lessons, biggest shifts, biggest things of expansion that I have received or learned, or life lessons that I have gained so far within this year that have completely utterly wholly created a path of expansion for me, and I know it will for you as well. And so excited to dive into that with you guys today. I also wanted to let you guys know that I did create a whole separate Instagram account for Royal Remembrance. So if you guys really want to, keep updated and just be in the world, like be in this space, be in this energy of royal remembrance, like remembering who you are, remembering your power, everything that we have stood for this whole time. If you want to like just be in that world, I've created a whole new world for that. And yeah, just really expanding what this community looks like. And I'm really, really excited for all of the things that are happening and are coming. So, all right. So again, this episode is going to be the top 5 lessons or top 5 things that have really created expansion for me within 2024. And I know it will create expansion for you as well. So the first thing is that I am no longer engaged. And I really wanted to share about this and talk about this, not from a state of like, airing out dirty laundry or anything like that. But I do feel as though the things that I learned from that process, the things that I am so proud of myself for in that process, I was like, I have to freaking share this. I have to share this. And so, so if you guys, have been an avid listener of this podcast, you know that I got engaged last year. It was like one of the best experiences of my life. Like there is no other feeling like getting engaged and knowing that you're about to start the next chapter of your life, the next season of your life. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I was so freaking excited. And what it really came down to is that when you notice that there is a shift starting to happen within each of your core values and they're no longer kind of like lining up, you have to make a decision. And I feel as though the engagement period is such an important space and time, because you are not out of the woodworks yet, or out of that season yet, right? Just because you're engaged doesn't mean that it's fully official yet. And so I really had to decide for myself in that moment of time, before any documentation is signed, before anything is permanent, sealed, signed, and delivered. I had to decide for myself, do I want to go down this path that I'm kind of already seeing is happening, Or do I want to take a chance, listen to what it is that I'm feeling, even if it's like a little nudge and you're not fully 100% sure, but it's something that you're just sensing. You're like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? You have to be able to decide and make a decision. I want to share with you guys like the biggest thing that I took away from that, because I fully enjoyed being engaged. I fully enjoyed, what it is that I was able to experience. I experienced for the first time in any relationship that I had ever been in, like really truly being at like my softest I've ever been. Right? What it felt like to be provided for and all of those different things. The biggest thing for me that I truly knew that I had fully embodied and owned my dark feminine energy when I decided to make that decision. And I'll tell you why this is such a big moment, right? When it comes to truly being in your dark feminine energy at its core is being so fully comfortable in who it is that you are, your values, the vision it is that you have for your life. And it's not just about your life. It's not just about what you want. As the visionary of the relationship, of that yin and yang, as the energetic leader of your relationship, you as the queen to your king, you need to be so damn in a space of, this is headed down a direction that I'm not seeing it is best for us, right? And I think so many times when, people are stepping into their feminine energy, the whole energetic frequency of feminine energy is, yes, being able to be in more of a state of receiving, right? And when it comes to partnership and relationships as the feminine, we do want to surrender to his leadership. We do want to be in a space of, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you to lead, right? Even though we are the energetic leaders of the relationship, right? He is steering the ship. If that's how you want your relationship to operate, right? And so, as I was saying, just because you want to be in a surrendered state and you want to make your man feel as though he is the leader, you trust him, all that kind of stuff, that doesn't mean to not say anything. That doesn't mean to feel something in your chest, feel something in your belly and ignore it and not say anything and just go along for the ride and hope that it will get better. That is not your utmost highest position as the queen in your relationship. What do you do in these situations? You want to be able to have conversations about these things. Because again, like I keep saying, it's not just about me, what I want. This is what I want. And if I don't get it, I'm out. No, right? What do you do in these situations? You have conversations. You see, where can we bend a little bit, make changes a little bit, make compromises a little bit. And both parties have to be willing to not only change, but both parties have to have the sight to even see what's happening. And if one person on the team isn't really seeing the missteps that are happening, and if you feel as though you are going down a path that is not in the direction that you want your life to go, you've got to make some hard decisions. Again, I'm really celebrating here the moment and space that I was in, because I received so much like pushback and judgment from my close family. I felt as though everyone thought I was being irrational, right? I felt as though people were seeing me from it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me, when it was completely opposite of that. Let me tell you something. When you have decided that you want different for your life, when you want better or best for your life than maybe your mothers or your grandmothers have experienced, when you decide that you want something different than they have experienced, you will receive pushback. It felt as though like I was in this like big hurricane and I had to just hunker down and really like lean on what I knew to be true and God, and just literally rely on that. And it was an incredibly hard and lonely time, but it was not like end all be all, oh my God, I feel like I'm dying kind of energy, because I listened to myself. Because I listened to myself. And so if there's anything that I can share with you ladies is to follow your heart. Yes. Say yes to the engagement. Say yes to the dates. Like say yes. Don't be in a state of so much self-protection and so much like guarding yourself and I'm only waiting for that perfect thing. Like say yes to the experiences and allow yourself to practice using your discernment. Allow yourself to practice being in space with God and asking for clarity and asking for discernment and seeing what happened. If you don't want to do something in a certain time, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I feel as though we need to allow ourselves to practice being more in relation with others, right? Because that allows you to increase your communication skills, that allows you to practice your discernment, that allows you to practice speaking up, especially if you're someone who, that throat, maybe you've grown up, not expressing yourself. That is the practice here. Okay. So don't guard yourself off and, nobody can get in. Allow yourself to be in relation with others. That is the only way you're going to be able to truly see what it is that you are made of. Have you truly aligned with the queen version of yourself? Can you make those difficult decisions? Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing, oh my gosh, the second thing that has absolutely led to a space of expansion this year is doing the Esther fast. So if you guys don't know what the Esther fast is, it comes from the book of Esther in the Bible. And what's so interesting is that, I have been strengthening my relationship with God over the last year or two or so. And when I went back to scripture and when I went back to really read the Bible for myself, Esther was the very first book. I kind of just was like looking at the books and I was like, which one am I being drawn to? And Esther was the book that just immediately popped out to me. And so I read the book of Esther and I absolutely fell in love with that whole story. I fell in love with it. And fast forward a few months later, I was getting this nudge. I was like, I think it's time to fast. I felt myself on the edge of like a huge breakthrough. And I was like, I think I need to fast. I'm feeling like I need to be in this like quiet space with God and just like shut out everything and almost be in this state of like uncomfortability. And so I was like, okay, fasting. Okay, cool. And then that same day, that very same day, one of my colleagues, one of my fellow coach friends, she sent out an email and she was like, hey, we're going to be doing the Esther fast. And I was like, heck yes, let's go. Let's go. And so it's a 3-day fast, only water. The book of Esther basically talks about how this woman named Hadassah, she was an orphan and she was basically like, her uncle took her under, her uncle or her cousin, one of them. And the King Eresis, who like ruled the city and a whole bunch of other provinces in the area, he was looking for a new queen. And so he wanted all of these women to come out and basically audition to be the new queen, right? And Hadassah's uncle, he changed her name to Esther because he was like, I don't want them to know that you're a Jew. Like, don't disclose your identity as a Jew. And so she started going by the name Esther, and the king selected her to be the new queen. And so all was good, all was well. They're moving, they're grooving, they're shaking, right? Then trouble starts happening. Things start shaking up. And Esther basically finds out that there's going to be like this mass killing on the 13th day. On the 13th day, there's going to be this mass killing of her people, of the Jews. And so she tells Mordecai, with whom is her uncle, and he's also one of like the main leaders, I guess you can say. She tells Mordecai to tell the people, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fast for 3 days. No food, no water. I'm going to do the same as well. And this is what we're going to do. After those 3 days, I'm going to go myself and talk to the king, which was extremely, extremely forbidden. And in fact, if you were to go and talk to the king in the manner in which she did, she basically like interrupted a whole thing. If anyone, no matter who you were to go and speak to the king in this way, you would immediately be killed, right? And so she was like, I don't care. This is what I'm going to do for 3 days. And if I perish, I perish. But this is what I'm going to do for my people. And so she fasted for 3 days. Her people fasted for 3 days. She went and spoke to the king. He basically stopped her from being killed, and she basically saved the people, right? That's the premise and the story of Esther. And so the whole premise of the Esther fast is to be able to get into such a quiet space with God so that you can be able to truly hear the decisions, the next steps, the breakthroughs that it is that you are seeking. An incredible experience. And here's the thing is that not everything that is for you and for the betterment of you is going to always feel good, right? And always feel light. This fast was not easy by any means, by any means. By any means. I don't want you to think that for a second. The first day was okay. I was busy, I was working, I was, doing things. And so the day was able to kind of just like go by. That second day, y'all, child. Child. I remembered just watching mukbangs, like literally watching people eat and writing down a list of what I wanted to eat at the end of the fast. Like it was pretty intense. But let me tell you something, the revelations that I received, the instructions that I received, the foresight that it is that I received was so incredible. It was so incredible. And I had to like fight for it, right? That's almost like the energy of this fast, is being in a space where you're like, God, I am here for my freaking breakthrough. And I'm going to keep asking for it until you give it to me. I am not going to sleep until you give it to me, right? And the second day is kind of like that energy, because in the book of Esther, she got her revelation on the second day. So it was on the third day that she went to the king and told him what it was. So that second day is super, 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 super important. And so you do not want to be laxed at all on that day. So again, like I was telling you guys, I and a few other ladies, we met every single morning for those 3 days, did Bible study, did, devotional, worshiping, praying, asking for guidance, asking for clarity, just being in a space of, God, I surrender to your path. I surrender to the path that you see best for me. Show me the way so that I can take the steps. I can take the action. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man, it was really, really powerful. And so, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys are being called to fast, but it is an incredible practice, not just the fasting aspect, but fasting and praying, right? Fasting and praying, going to that quiet space with God and asking for guidance and not shutting up or sitting down until you get the guidance that you want. So, yeah, I'm just so grateful to have experienced that. And yeah, I will definitely be hosting, my own Esther fast for our community at some point. If you guys, do want to do that, highly, highly, highly recommend. It is incredibly powerful. The third thing is that, y'all, tracking data. Tracking data has been a game changer, mostly around fitness. So I've been telling you guys about like my 75 hard journey. I'm pretty much on the third round since I spoke about it the first time. I'm on my third round now because it just works so well. And what has really like changed the whole game for me, y'all, has completely changed the whole game for me. And where I really started to see an enhancement and an increase in results was truly tracking data and tracking food specifically. I realized how important the masculine structure is when it comes to all aspects of your life. So before, when I did the other rounds of my fitness pal, I was kind of just like intuitively eating and more so just like eating healthier. But what I will say is this round, I really truly started to track my food. I really started to track every single thing that was going into my mouth to actually see what was happening, right? What's going on? What's going on here? And data is, it is what it is, right? And something that my brother always says is inspect what you expect. You can't expect something without inspecting it. What are you currently doing? What is the data? What are the numbers? That's the only way you're going to know what needs to shift. And I feel like I had been in such a space of like being so used to flowing that I was like, oh, okay, this is a perfect practice to, again, be in practice with the masculine and actually appreciate it, right? Appreciate its presence. And so, yes, tracking the food has been game changer for my results. And I was getting results before, but this sped up the results and it brought a lot more confidence because at the end of the day, I could say I either did this or I did not, right? Oh, okay. I know why I gained a pound. I ate way in a calorie surplus for, these last few days versus being in a deficit like I needed to. Tracking is incredible. If you're not seeing the results that you want to see in any area of your life, what is it that you're currently doing? What is the data saying? And then going from there. And I think this is really important when it comes to women who want to be empowered in our feminine energy and also really elevating. This is what's going to take you to that next level and really have you sitting in that queen energy, right? That air and that queen level energy is having a good relationship with your masculine and not demonizing it and not, oh, I just only want to be in my soft girl energy and I don't want anyone to tell me anything and all these different things, right? Being able to have a healthy space for the masculine to just keep you healthy, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. Just keep you healthy, and it's for your good. The fourth thing is really truly listening to what is correct. So I have been getting a lot of requests lately. I've been getting a lot of requests, a lot of people asking me to do things, a lot of invitations, a lot of people wanting to, collaborate on this or invite me to this. And I have really, truly been practicing being in that experimentation of my human design, which is to truly, truly wait to respond. Wait to respond. So I'll give you an example. One of my mutuals on TikTok, incredible, highly respect her, leader in the, women's empowerment space, incredible, just like such a thought leader, such an innovator. I freaking love her. She reached out to me and she was inviting me to one of her events in Italy. And she was like, hey, I only have like a small list of people that I'm inviting. I really want like movers and shakers to be there, right? And I didn't have that like gut level thing of like, oh my gosh, I would actually love to do that. Like it didn't feel like that. And so I took some time, I waited, I allowed it to like marinate inside of my body. I was like, okay, how does this feel? How does this feel? And I was like, I mean, we could do that. We could do that. Like we could. And I noticed that answer was coming from a space of not wanting to disappoint someone, right? Someone took the courage to invite you to something. This could be such a moment of expansion and elevating. At the same time, I was like, but that doesn't match where it is that I want to go, right? Where I want to be is more in like tribal settings. Where I'm being called right now in this space in my life is more, tribal, jungle, indigenous type of energy, right? I'm not really being called to the whole, Italy luxury. That sounds amazing, but where I'm being called is not quite there yet. And just being able to be honest and say, this sounds like an amazing opportunity and I would absolutely love to do that. And I wish my energy was like going in that place, but it's not. And owning that, owning that. There's been so many different instances of people wanting to come on the podcast, people inviting me to do other things. And the more that I practice, right? Human design is a practice. It's an experimentation. It's understanding how, with the tools and with the guidelines, understanding how your energy feels in those guidelines so that you can master what your best decision-making skills feel like, right? And so that's been really incredible to see how I'm able to truly know what is correct for me and what isn't and what it feels like. And then the last thing, and this will beautifully wrap up this episode, is being in a space where I accept who I am, what my interests are, and where it is that I want to go. And again, every single year, I feel like I really step deeper into this. But man, I am just in a space where I'm like, listen, this is what I like. These are my interests. And this is what I want to do. I remember I was talking to this guy a couple of days ago. And he was like, your birthday is coming up. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, honestly, villa in Mexico and just like relaxing and allowing myself to respond to the day. And he was like, that's that's amazing. Like, are you going to go with your girls? Like, and I'm like, no, just me. And being able to just own that, like, oh, what if he looks at me like I'm crazy or I'm a loner? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And just being in a space of owning who it is that you are, owning your interests, just owning all of it, owning all of it. I've never been the type of person that's like, big birthday bash. I'm celebrating my birthday all month long. I've never really been into that. My kind of good time is being in a beautiful space, being in a beautiful ambiance, villa, gorgeous resort, being in a beautiful destination, and just relaxing. That sounds like a good time to me. That sounds like an amazing time to me. And then, we have little pockets. If we want to go out, have a good time, dance and do the whole thing, we can do that, right? But that's not the whole thing. That's not the whole premise. And so yeah, just being able to accept that. Another thing that I am so damn interested in is I freaking love EDM house music. I feel like that's one of the things that when we have certain identities, we feel as though we have to stick in those certain boxes, right? Because I'm this color, I should like this. Because you guys get what I'm saying. And so I have always loved EDM house music because of the way that it makes me feel. It brings me into this kind of realm that my heart is just fully open and I love being in that space. And so the other day I was just like, man, I really, really love this music. Like, I would go to an EDM house music festival before I go to like a hip hop or R&B kind of concert. And that's just what it is, right? I love lovers rock. I love lovers rock. I love dance hall. Those are my shits, right? Those are my things. And so again, just being able to overall own the things that truly fill you with joy and talking about those things, sharing about those things. You guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or even the podcast, I've been growing my relationship closer with God. And so I've been sharing about that. Owning your intensity, owning your deep thirst for the deeper things, owning your deep thirst for the more esoteric kinds of things, just owning who it is that you are. Period. Just owning all of it. All right. So y'all, I think this was an amazing start to this new season. Again, welcome to Royal Remembrance podcast, and I'm so excited for all of what's to unfold here. So yeah, I would love to connect with you guys on Instagram. My personal handle is Caprivana, CAPRIVANAA, two A's at the end. I would also love if you guys follow the Royal Remembrance account. That is going to be such a beautiful space where we will be sharing things all about queen energy, like being in that royal queen energy, understanding what your divine assignment is, and walking powerfully, graciously, confidently, sensually in that. Oh, all the things. So, you guys, other than that, thank you so much for being here. As always, all of the links for coaching, programs, all of that will be down in the description box. Other than that, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. maybe a lot of you might say, like, oh, that makes sense. But I feel as though